All right. And you work and I know that the education sector is very, very much in your heart.
Yes.
How important is it for students to be aware of their learning, the way of they learn, basically?
This applies on the way we learn and consume information is varied. From a business school point of view, we need to make sure that we are communicating. Let's start with the word communicating rather than using the word teaching. Using various methodologies. Because learning, for some of us, we learn best if I'm reading on my own, having time to reflect, whilst for some of us, we're better off being in a training room, engaging in conversations with the lecturers, with other people in the classroom, whilst for others, it could be a hybrid. So learning as such is vast. And if anything, we need to make sure that one, if I'm a student, I'm looking for ways and paths which make most sense to me. So if I know I will struggle to do a program on distance learning, I shouldn't embark on a distance learning program by default.
Yeah.
But if I'm disciplined, maybe that's one methodology of how I can learn. But as such, it is about making sure that you are consuming the information in the best way possible, and that the school or whatever you are trying to learn, because it's not about only accredited qualifications, they are communicated to you that work best to your learning styles. Obviously, a good school will be trying to adapt to various learning styles at the same time and making sure everyone is on board and learning as we go along. In fact, we focus a lot from a learning point of view because currently we teach mostly further higher education with the principle of work-based learning. So some of the learning is also done in the place of work because all our students are adults to date, because we're opening that up to full-time students as well as of 2024.
Okay.
And even then, all the programs will include an element of work-based learning, so that will help making sure that people are learning on the job, not only in the classroom. We already have a faculty made up of industry people, so that already helps. But that's not enough. I mean, we need to keep on engaging. I love technology, so our next project is currently seeing how we can integrate virtual environments and feel that even if you're at home with a virtual headset, you can actually possibly feel as if you are part of a classroom.
Is it, because recently I came in contact with a student who was an engineering student who was creating a robot for induction purposes. So, for example, you have a new, no, not for induction, that was another project.
Onboarding?
For the fire drill. So they would show the route for fire exits and stuff, and where are the fire extinguishers and the safety points and the assembly points via the robot. So you'd have a virtual tour of the plant or the offices, and basically you'll get a sort of like Google Maps. It shows you the way from where you need to go and whatnot. And this is a virtual tour of the premises, but highlighting obviously the route that you need to take in case of an emergency. Right. And it blew my mind that when I heard it. So I'm not sure whether it is something similar, if it's on the job, or
it can be.
Okay.
But the way we're currently looking at such options are varied. So some of it is, can we create or produce content using AI algorithms? So before we were speaking about voice, which is not recognizable because it's so good that you wouldn't know it's a program which is telling you, which is basically reading what someone has inputted. So now we're actually looking at creating content with an avatar which looks like a human being, it could be myself, who is actually giving a lesson basically. So we want to blend learning with additional material so that people can continue to study and adapt to different learning styles, and these videos could help. It does not mean we are currently planning to replace in any way the classes, but we are testing various methodologies and seeing what produces the best output for our students. I mean, all we do is based on student feedback. So we will do what the feedback and the indicators will reflect in our ongoing approach. And what we do today does not mean it's applicable in 4
For
or
sure.
5 years' time.
For
Not
sure.
even talking 10, 15 years' time. Because the rate of technology is changing so fast that you just need to adapt to change
Yeah.
and be willing to transform yourself as the months and years go along.
Yes, and the technology is already there. So if you see videos on TikTok and other social platforms that produce these short form video content, the avatars are there. You would know that it's an avatar and not a human being, but graphics will improve. So that's for sure. And classes, when online classes are still recorded via audio. So if they are recorded with the visuals as if the person was in class, so for example using VR or any similar technologies, you're just adding more into the experience of the student.
Yes. I mean, it's all about the student
Yeah.
experience. We measure student experience, and that is what we need to make sure we are producing material which is transforming and adding value to the journey of a student when they're learning. Now, cascading it further down, depends which data you look at, but I was born in 1980, so people can make up what age I am. I was born in an era where we had both analog and digital. My kids are born digital to some extent, so imagine we are still, to some extent, having curricula heavily based on formats which are less adaptive to the way people are consuming media today. So I hope that as time goes by, we can use more the digital innovations even at primary and secondary level. By no means I'm saying teachers are not trying to, but the system needs to help them do more of it.